Well, March Madness is officially here. We just got finished up with all the conference tournaments, and they make it all the way to the NCAA tournament right now. So, this got me thinking, what would hypothetical conference tournaments look like for college football if they followed the same format for each conference? I'm going to go over the Group of 5 first, then I'm going to go over all the Power 5 first, a little more detail. So, we're going to start with the Group of 5, start with the MAC. Toledo was the 1 seed, Miami, Ohio was the 2 seed. They both played in the MAC championship game. So that's why they're the top 2. Ohio was the 3, and Bowling Green would be the 4 seed for the MAC. As you can see, the 5 through 12 is on the far left as well. Conference USA has 9 teams. We're only going to go with 8. Liberty was the 1 seed. Mexico State was the 2 seed. They both, again, played each other for the conference title game. Jacksonville State was a 3, and Western Kentucky was 4th in the conference. So moving on to the Mountain West. The first place was a 3-way tie, and it came down to a coin flip, and the results came out to UNLV would be the 1 seed, Boise State would be the 2, and San Jose State would be the 3. Air Force and Wyoming were tied. Air Force gets the head-to-head nod, and they get the 4 seed, and they get the first round bye. Next is the Sun Belt Conference, the Fun Belt Conference. James Madison, if not for idiotic, moronic, out-of-date NCAA transition rules, James Madison would have played in the conference championship game in real life. But for this scenario, they're going to be number 1 seed in this conference tournament. Troy would be the 2. App State would be the 3. Those two actually played each other in the conference tournament championship game in real life. And Coastal Carolina finished tied with Old Dominion at 5 and 3. They get the nod with the 4 seed and the double bye in this conference. Finally, the American Conference, Tulane and SMU finished both 8-0, undefeated, did not play each other. Tulane actually got all the tiebreakers, so they hosted the conference championship game. So the results would be Tulane would be the 1, SMU would be the 2, UTSA by itself in 3rd place, and Memphis at 6 and 2 gets the 4th place nod and the double bye in this conference tournament. So we're going to move on to the Power 5, starting with the Pac-12. Washington would be the 1 seed, Oregon the 2, Arizona would be the 3, and Oregon State tied with Utah at USC. They would be the 4 seed. So if I had to pick one team to win this conference, it would probably be Washington. If I had to pick an underdog, a team that wasn't the 1 or the 2 seed, I would probably pick Utah. And if I had to pick a super dog, a team that was seeded below 6 or below, it would probably be USC. So I would pick Washington as my regular pick, Utah as my underdog, and then USC as my super dog pick. Moving on to the ACC conference, Florida State would be the 1, Louisville would be the 2, NC State would be the 3, and Georgia Tech somehow at 6 and 6, 5 and 3 in conference would be the 4 seed to get that double bye. Just shows you how shallow of a conference the ACC was this year, being that the 4th place team was Georgia Tech overall. So if I had to pick a team to win, I think I would still stick with Florida State winning it. Underdog, team that's not in the top 2, I would probably pick Clemson, and they would also be my super dog pick as 6 seed or lower. I just think Clemson is the most talented, plus they're on the opposite side of Florida State, so they would be Louisville, they would be Boston College, then Louisville, then most likely NC State / Duke to get to the conference championship game against most likely Florida State as well. So that's what I'd pick for the ACC. Moving on to the Big 12 conference. Texas comes in at the 1, Oklahoma State 2, Oklahoma at 3, and Iowa State at the 4. I think Texas, honestly, if there was a redo with this, if I had to pick one team, it'd be Oklahoma. Honestly, I think they beat Texas head-to-head. They would have beat West Virginia. They get another crack at Oklahoma State. They beat them, and I think they'd beat Texas again head-to-head at a neutral site championship-style game. They would obviously be my underdog pick. If I had to pick a super dog, 6 or below, I would pick Texas Tech. Because I think they could upset TCU or beat TCU, upset Oklahoma State, then upset Oklahoma, and have a good chance of beating Texas in a regular setting in the neutral site. So those would be my picks: Oklahoma and Texas Tech for the Big 12 tournament championship. The Big 10, Michigan, Ohio State, Penn State get the 1, 2, and 3, and then Iowa at 7 and 2 conference gets the 4 seed. The Big 10 West was absolutely nothing compared to the Big 10 East this year, and the other 11 teams were nothing compared to Michigan, Ohio State, and Penn State. So I think Michigan would still win this tournament. They face Iowa, then they face either the winner of Penn State or Ohio State. So they have just a cakewalk to win 2 games of the title. Underdog pick, I mean, there'd be nobody else besides Penn State to win. I think Penn State, if the other teams make it, I mean, they shellacked Iowa, they shut out they beat every other Big Ten West team they played. They just lost close to Ohio State and Michigan. So Penn State would be an underdog pick, and my super dog pick, If I had to choose one, I mean, it's very difficult, but it'd probably be Wisconsin. They'd have to go through Penn State and Ohio State versus Michigan, so that'd be my super dog pick to win the Big Ten. Finally, the SEC. Georgia would be the 1, Alabama would be the 2. The head-to-head or the tiebreakers are come to be Georgia would still get the 1 seed because they played tougher opponents, beat better teams ranked in the hierarchy of the SEC standings, so that's why they're 1 and Alabama's 2. Missouri's 3 and Ole Miss is 4. Obviously, they get the nod over LSU because of the head-to-head. If I had to choose one, it'd be Alabama again. I think Alabama would beat their side of the bracket and then beat Georgia like they did in real life. Super dog or underdog pick, not 1 or 2. It's tough to decide between Missouri and LSU. LSU just doesn't have a defense. I think Missouri was just a well-rounded team. I think I would pick them as my underdog. And then super dog, 6 or below, I'd pick Texas A&M. I think they beat South Carolina. I think they always play Alabama well, and then they beat Missouri/Tennessee, and then they played Georgia tough. So my picks are, this would be Alabama, the regular, Missouri underdog, and then Texas A&M as my super dog pick. And that is the video, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you're ready for March Madness. I'm so ready for this. Join me for my next video for college football, and it might be the conference tournament, the 64-team bracket. So join me for that one, and I'll see you guys then.